it. Let's check if our stream is working right now. Okay, let me start. Blackmail in the Whitechapel. Yeah. Oh, nag-back. Continue. Loading. Guys, pa-subscribe sa YouTube, ebxlive. Parehas na account dito sa Facebook. ebxlive. Yeah. Pasensya na sa loading. Ang bagal yung computer natin. District status. Ito ba yung gagawin? Dito ba natin siya observe? Tapos na ba? Find inhabitants in the Whitechapel Pine Orchard. Okay. So done. By the way guys, naputol yung stream natin kanina. Ang ginawa ko lang, kumatok ako dito. And
I must insist, sir. Please let me see Nurse Crane.
I have no time for you, sir.
then what happened is I go here. Then my vampire sense that person go over there, and he would talk to Nurse Crane, and you would just observe it.
It's locked.
So that's it. We have another mission, and find the inhabitants in the Whitechapel. So punta natin.
Cheap price, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid.
Kausap na natin lahat yan guys eh. So find Clayton in the area. Where's this guy? Clayton ba yan? Yun. Clayton. Bart Lewis, Joe Peterson, Humbert Benjamin Palmer. Ito yung lahat. Joe Peterson, Harry Peterson, White Tiger, and there's this guy. Okay, so it's this guy. Who is this? Hi, Clayton. Is this Clayton?
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby.
Okay.
Reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel.
But
Perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist.
my name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
So, about underground medical dispensary.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
So,
I'm afraid one of the nurses from the Pembroke Hospital may be involved with unsavory activities.
Could it be Dorothy Crane?
Without doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named
Darvis.
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
Okay. Never goes out.
He never goes out.
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Okay.
He has no relatives at all?
No, except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
Okay, so I need to ask everything.
Christina Popper claims she sells her body because she can't find any other work. Do you believe her?
Of course I do. Her story is exactly what I want my readers to understand. We live in an intolerant and divided nation.
Do you think things will ever change, Mr. Darby?
I believe the situation can only improve. And now that women can vote, I'm convinced things will change.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
Okay.
I served in France. Our top priority must be to put an end to this butchery. This war must stop now.
Sir, streets are a battlefield too. An invisible and untold war is going on, and it must be stopped.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
I'm convinced there is more at work here than a simple epidemic.
Really? To be honest, I could say the same. Some of the sick I saw or heard of. My God, what happened to them?
Let's go back. Meron pa ba? Personal question. I need to ask everything, so... And that's...
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
Okay, so let's go back now. It's the public
That's
interest.
quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
Let's go back. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
65 meters. Where's that guy? Mailbox. Where is that? Oh, this one. My dearest, most beloved children, I am sorry you have not heard from me for a few months. Situation in London has been difficult. I know it may sound selfish and silly when you and my children are still living in a country consumed by war. But there is also war going on here in England, a war against poverty and against injustice. This war I intend to fight despite my advanced year. This is why I'm writing to you today. Okay.
The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter.
So I need to talk with another guy again.
I cannot enter.
Yep, you cannot enter. It's so serious. And run. Where's that? Run.
The walls of your home will not protect you, for there is no protection against malevolence and trickery.
Can I open this? Yes. What the fuck? Yes. Run. What else we have here? Okay, find inhabitants in the Whitechapel. Dami natin nahanapin. Find Richard in the area. Where's that Richard? Yan. Yun, si Richard yan. Hey Richard.
Summer. Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your
Service. Wow. So, start mo na. Dito mo na.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet, nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Okay, so...
It's peaceful. That's quite an unusual way to speak about the epidemic. And very inappropriate, I must say.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
Are you aware that your life could be in danger?
Ay, sorry guys, no. Hindi
But
pala
this is where I
naka...
must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had
Yan
to
yung
come,
peace rig
see it
natin.
for myself, alone.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor.
Okay, let me open my
and my
peace
family,
rig.
despite...
Peace rig.
This is me.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you, for a start, my dear Doctor.
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir, Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much, and that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives, how she survives, whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles and the arid hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox, the stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.